Okay, hello and welcome to another video of mine, and today I'm going to show you one of my broken VCRs. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because of the VCR King. He's a VCR collector and have 3 VCRs at the moment. Unfortunately, only one is working. And I'm planning to do a video on the one which is working as well, which is a Grundig, which was made by Saab, and the VCR King pointed that out. And yeah, so I'm wanting to do a video about this VCR because I think it is a really great VCR, and I actually experienced this one when it was fully working, and this thing was an amazing quality VCR. So we'll first of all take a look at it here. So as you can see here in front, it says hi-fi stereo, and this VCR has incredible audio and video cassette recorder. There's a model. It's an, let's see, what is it? It's an NV-F70, and it's a high quality VCR. And this thing has the pop-out door. So if you press this little button here at the side, this comes out. And here are a ton of controls. We have the play controls and wind and things. OTR, I don't know what this is. I actually have the remote for this VCR. However, I don't have it here. I have it at a different place. So I can show it, but it has a little LCD screen on it, which is pretty cool. Eject button, we have the clock set button. And I think that is for adjusting the tuner, the preset. Program, I don't know what a lot of this is. Tracking, manual tracking control. And you use this to set the clock, and for that you use the next button. Counter mode, if it's a standard counter or the remaining counter. Counter reset. Recording speed and timer mode. And the clear button to clear the counter. Here's the input select, which I don't know what simulated is. And then tuner is the tuner, and line audio are the aux inputs. You have a tape select in between E180 or below and a E240. Digital tracking, which the tracking was really quite amazing. You could put a tape in which was badly damaged, which has been exposed to magnets, but this thing is tracked up immediately. But that is kind of an issue with my Grundig, that if you put in like an old sort of damaged tape in it, which has the magnets tied to it, and you have to track it manually. The auto tracking just can't handle an old tape. But this thing with an old tape, it has been exposed to magnets. You just put the tape in and immediately tracked up. We have hi-fi normal mix. The only thing this did in playback, I never tried the recording unfortunately. In playback, that's a switch to mono sound. And here's an MPX filter for the audio. And it has a noise filter. So what this did, I know there are lots of VCRs back in the day which had Dolby noise reduction, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, worked like on cassette tapes, that the tape had to be encoded with the Dolby system. But this kind of works like dynamic noise reduction. You can put it onto any tape and it cuts the noise off, and that really made the sound as good as the direct hookup. Because on my Grundig, there is noise in the audio if you turn it up, and there was no noise. We have a headphone input and a microphone input, or headphone output. And the power button. You can see kind of one here. And the VTR indicator, which was an indicator that the thing was on. And then we have stereo, I don't know what the billing goes, simulated, again I don't know what that is. The digital tracking was when the digital tracking was on. Insert, I think illuminated when you had a tape inside, and audio dubbing is if you want to dub the audio with the microphone. That probably would have illuminated. Here we have the large vacuum fluorescent display. This had beautiful VU readers on it. and the super forehead. Of course, the thing of the 90s, a Zorg subtle dial, so you can sort of do frame by frame or turn it really fast, and then everything goes like chipmunks. And then the same thing with this. And you can switch in between the outer thing and the inner thing, the Zorg and the subtle. It's this button, and it has a PAL or C-cam, which I used in Eastern Germany. Tuner, which was also cable ready, so that's pretty cool. And then I've taken the cover off, if you haven't noticed that already. And then at the back, it's kind of dirty unfortunately. We have the vertical lock for short play and long play, RF input and RF output. And this is the reason why I unfortunately never was able to record, because this thing has B and C connectors for the video. However, it has standard RCA connectors for the audio, so I could make audio recordings, and I actually did that, and those sounded excellent. However, I never could do videos because I don't have anything with USB and C. Here is a built-in test signal generator, which I think this puts two white stripes on the RF and the AV outputs. And yeah, it has a AV output. I think this AV output is using the composite and not RGB. The information's made in Japan. And then over here would be the power supply, which I have somewhere else. It's going to get it here, and this is probably the reason why this VCR isn't working. So here it is. This is the power supply, because the problem with this VCR is it always used to work well, and then one day it had issues playing tapes. It didn't want to really engage in play mode anymore, so I stopped using it, and a week after I wanted to try it out again, and it just didn't turn on, and the only thing coming from the power supply was a squealing noise, a very faint squealing. So I think the power supply has dried out capacitors in it, because I remember that the power supply always ran very, very hot. It really was quite hot, and you could, if you played a tape, say for instance a E120 minute tape, if you played it inside of the VCR, and after you played it you stuck your hand in the tape compartment, it was like an oven in this thing. It was super hot. And this is a design flaw, because you look at the cover, there are no ventilation spaces, and at the back there's no ventilation. The only ventilation was these small little vent holes, because this is covered up by this plate. And I think that's a design flaw they did, because there was no ventilation space in this thing, and it got very hot and the capacitors dried out. I'm kinda afraid, you see that white little blob in there? That is a paper filter capacitor. Which those explode. I actually had a CRT TV right here. And that thing exploded because of a reefer capacitor. Now those are known to do it, and these don't appear to be reefer. There's another one. And I'm kinda afraid it might be something bad. I have checked the fuses, they are all good. Looks like down there is circuit glue on the capacitor, which is super yellowed. Take a look in there. And yeah, you can see I already cleaned this off in the sour with sandpaper, because this black stuff is in there. This is usually the dirt which gets caked on by the power supply emitting heat, and it's just caked on this thing. Like, I tried that with, well, it wasn't sandpaper, but like a really strong brush, really strong plastic brush, and it just didn't really come off, and you can see it's all over there. Here's a little hole in the circuit board, and it came out even there, because this thing just ran insanely hot. Oh, I'm stupid. So, but yeah, this VCR, the picture quality was really good too. Like, it was as good as the composite direct video feed. So, not as video, quality, but it was basically as good as the composite video. And yeah, the tape door is stuck open, because actually before this thing made the squealing noise, I actually turned it on, the display did not turn on, and made the squealing, but I pressed the power button, and I put a tape in, and then sort of went to engage, and put the tape down into the mechanism, but it stopped, and this thing, like in slow motion speed, came back up, and this sort of put the tape out like a tiny bit so I could grab it out, and the door didn't close and anything. However, this thing I could just move in position manually after I've taken it apart. So yeah, it's unfortunately broken. I got these controls. This is a headphone level slider control. A picture soft sharp thing, which I don't really understand the purpose of, because if you put it to soft, it just makes the picture softer, so I always left it sharp. And we have manual audio record level right here, so you can adjust the record level manually, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because if you do like live recordings of TV and you don't know which audio level is gonna suddenly happen, this can get really tricky. So I prefer automatic leveling like most low-end VCRs have. Or this way I don't have to mess around with it and just does it. Yeah, now we'll take a look at the inside so I can see. Here's a big circuit board. Now this circuit board is in here, like upside down, and I have seen this on other VCRs of the 80s, which weren't halfway as high-end as this, that the circuit board is in there like that. But yeah, I probably shouldn't be touching this. It's super dirty. I need to wash my hands afterwards. So you can see here's where the power supply unit came out, and unfortunately it's not labeled with what voltages go where, so I can't try it out with an auxiliary power supply either. And you can see it has the pins roller. Now take a look at the mechanism. It's one of these ones which drops down. It's not one of these ones which is like always there and just presses against it. It drops down. This rubber thing. I think that's called the pins roller. Not a sir. In German this is the Androkolle, and that's in German as well, the pins roller. So I'm wondering. And yeah, that's the audio head for the linear audio. And then, because this is a hi-fi stereo VCR, you might be able to see on the heads that there are two heads in there. One for video and one for audio. I can't really see it, but if I remember correctly, that's how it is. You can sort of see the division line in between the two heads. Wow, my nose is freaking out right now. And on the motor here, which also is a Matsushita or Panasonic motor, we have a date code of the 21st March 1990, which, by the looks of it, I would say fits. And here's the mechanism. I can't determine what it is. Even by looking at it, I can't. I now know the sounds of a sub mechanism, but and how a sub mechanism looks, because I actually took apart the Grundig as well. But I don't know if this is a Panasonic mechanism. I think that's like a really good Panasonic mechanism. I think it was a Z mechanism, but I'm not too sure. I had like one letter. So there's something written on top of there. But this thing really made clunking. Didn't make like clunking noises in a bad way, but you just put a tape in, it went like click click, and then you press the clay and went like click click boot, and really it sounded like a solid mechanism. That's these little click clicks it did, and it just sounded like it was good quality, and I mean, looks like it is. I would say it looks nearly as good as the JVC mechanism in my top loader VCR, but that's probably still a bit seeped out. I think that on the JVC is a bit thicker, and in the JVC you don't see plastic wheels in it. So yeah. And this is the race end right here. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not good at VCRs, but I think that's how it is. And I would say that is just about it. The top is very generic. There's nothing on it, and on the side. Oh god, my trouser is getting all dirty now. Oh, wonderful. It says course information here. That is, I think, French, and this is German. Oh, you know, I'm qualified to open it up and take it apart. So yeah, I'm very lazy, so it will probably take quite a while until I fix it up. Because I already have a working VCR, a very good one actually. The quality is quite good. But I'll definitely hang on to this thing, and it will not meet the hammer. It will for sure not meet the hammer. And yeah, that's just about it. And thank you for watching, and I would like to see you in my next video.